Hello, Virgo. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Morgan Greer Tarot. Supportive Oracle cards, Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. Okay. Oh, I'm excited about using those for some reason. Virgo. Alright, so you got extremes here. Alright, so you got a lot of earth energy. Like, you got a lot of earth energy coming in, which for Virgo is very good. You guys are earth sign. Earth energy usually goes very well with a Virgo. If you have other things in your chart that kind of go against that, that's a whole other thing. But normal, just run-of-the-mill earth energy, Virgo energy, this is very, 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 very good. You're standing in the King of Pentacles position, which is telling me you have this moment where you do seem to have a lot of control. A lot of control about assessing where things have been, who you're connected with, and where you're going next. Because I'm seeing the Emperor in your past. And it's kind of like I'm heading into a new situation. I do think you're heading into a new situation. The thing is, it's kind of like, this is one of the gifts of Virgo, in my opinion. You slowly look at things, you evaluate where you've been, and you're like, before I get too far into this, let me really look. Is this really looking the way I want it to be? Is this really making sense to me? Am I falling for something that I've already done and I didn't like how it turned out? Or does this look different, and do I feel like this is stable and makes sense? This is just, it almost feels like Virgo 101. You're very optimistic about what you're going forward to. What you're going forward to? Wow, we got a lot of words. You're optimistic, very optimistic. But I think you're also realistic. When I'm seeing the Fool card, I feel like this is you acknowledging you can only plan so much. Life is going to do what life is going to do. I'm just trying to make sure I stay in camera here. I can't seem to stay in camera today. Is this making sense? I have to get that over there more. Okay. See, when I'm doing this, I think it's the energy saying, even when you're starting off in this, when you're heading towards it, you're like, things just don't line up perfectly, but you're like, yeah, but they're not going to. I'm getting a very realistic, when you have the Fool card, I feel like it's very realistic. Like, you know what? This isn't going to be like a slam dunk. It's not going to be perfect in the lines. This situation is not going to do that. And it makes life a lot easier for you just addressing it and accepting it to start with. That seems to be a challenge for earth signs mostly, not only earth signs, but if you know, well, if you're going towards something and you've got a long plan ahead of you and you want to keep it as strict as possible, the more strict you try to keep it, the more aggravation you're going to face, because you know how life is. And I feel like the people really connecting to this already get that. Like, yeah, I've already been down that road. If you really try to force it to stay in line, it just gets worse and worse, and it never works out exactly the way you want it to. Even if you get it exactly where you want it to be, you're so frazzled and annoyed at the end, it didn't even matter. So, with that energy in mind, you are still setting out. You're still going forward. You're starting the situation. You're starting the process. Very realistically, very, very realistically, extreme advantage. I think you have a very strong advantage for the way you're feeling about this, because you're like not expecting it to be perfect. But I'm trying to keep it within this parameter. You're kind of working within parameters, not like it has to be right here, but like I want it to be between these two lines. And it might go out a little bit. You're very honest with yourself about this. It might go out a little bit more here, a little bit there. But if I can corral it back in, we're going to be fine. Queen of Pentacles, Seven of Pentacles. You're expecting this to go on for a long time. It's kind of like, I almost feel like this is a situation where I want a new place to live, but this is the last place I want to do this with. So I'm going to start off where I'm going to find the place. What area do I want to start with? Then I'm going to see, like, do I want to build a house or do I want to buy one that's already there? If I buy one, am I going to have it renovated? Am I going to have it changed? You're like going at this very slowly, kind of like, I'm not looking to keep doing this for the rest of my life. This next situation, I want to stay. You're not expecting it to happen in 5 minutes. You don't really want it to, is what I'm getting. I feel like this is part of what you enjoy about this, putting the situation together. Fair warning, the cat is on me, so he might jump up at some time, so just because he shocks people sometimes, because he's just there. Just so you know. Not sure if he will. Are there other people supporting this? There might be. But whatever you're starting out with, you got the death card with protection coming in. Whole new situation. Even if there's other people involved, this is about where you want to go and what you want to do. And like if there's other people involved, you're already heading this direction and they're matching it. Like they're already in the same mindset. Protection is telling me when you get the right people around you, it seems like you're getting support, but I don't, it's like the support I'm feeling is like other people going the same direction. They're in line with you. I don't feel like there's any like convincing of anything. They're already in line with you. They're already going the same way. That's what I'm getting with the protection. So if this is going to work out, if this is going to really hit, the people around you are supportive, but it's because they're already there. It's like there's nothing to convince them of because they're already like, yeah, that's where we want to go too. The only challenge I'm seeing to start this is literally to start this. It seems to be like we need to kick the ball on the field. Like we need to shoot the gun off so we can start the race. Like we need to start. And the sooner we start, the better. And it's almost like for some of you, you already have kind of started, but I'm getting like we need a little bit more momentum. We need to like build the momentum here. It needs to go a little bit more. There needs to be a little bit more put into it. Because I'm getting the Five of Wands with the action. Like we need a bit more action to really make this come together for you. So if they're saying we're going to need you to start pushing it a little harder, a little faster, a little more effort. It's almost kind of like if you're going at 20 miles an hour in a 45 mile an hour zone, it's kind of like we need you to get up to 45 miles an hour. You don't have to get there today, but like start moving yourself up there, get yourself up to the speed. Like I feel like they want you to increase momentum. The energy I'm feeling around this is like the challenge is to like increase the momentum so this actually has a really good outcome. Ironically, if it stays at the current momentum, I almost feel like this is a big part of this reading. If it stays at its current momentum, it's not going to work. Like the energy is like jumping a little bit. I'm noticing that. I'm kind of feeling a little distracted with it. The Ace of Cups comes in with the wisdom. I'm getting that it does need to go up a notch. But I'm also getting like when you start pushing it up a notch, there is support around you. And I almost feel like I don't want to lose control. I don't want to lose the energy. I don't want to lose my focus. But I'm almost like, is this staying on plan? I'm starting to question that. Like it is at first, but it's like it's making me nervous because other people are kind of like, all right, let's do this. And other people are starting to run with it. They're going in the same direction, but they're running ahead. And you're like, oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Because I'm getting the Ace of Cups with the wisdom. But where it's heading is where I'm really feeling it. People are really supporting you, and it's kind of like they have a lot of ideas coming in, and they're running ahead. This is where it's coming out. It is going really well, but I'm also getting like the fear with the void. The fear with the void is telling me other people are running ahead with this idea. Other people are filling in the blanks, and they're ahead of you, and the void is like you don't know what they're doing. But I am noticing you're getting the Nine of Cups. You're getting a really good outcome. Again, it's like staying within the parameters, by time you catch up to what they're doing, I do see like there's still time to like edit things and move things around. I don't think this is going to be a problem, but it could end up being an aggravation or a like it may give you anxiety, kind of like, oh, don't go over there and buy something that's expensive that we can't return if I don't want it. Like, don't do that. It's kind of like when you have a partner that goes and buys the family car before they tell you anything about it, and you're like, I didn't want an SUV. That's too big for me. I wanted like a more small car type thing going on. They're like, well, I already did it, signed the papers, and you're like, That's what you're afraid of. That's the anxiety. Like, what if that happens? I don't see that happening. I feel like what's going to happen is more like, if we're going to use the same analogy of like, you have a partner, they're looking at a family car, there's a certain SUV they want, they haven't signed the papers, but they're like, I think we should do this SUV. I've done all the research and I'm ready to sign the papers. And you're like, well, no, I don't want to drive. That's too big for me. I don't like it. I feel like I'm driving a boat and I'm going to run people over. I don't like it. I would like something smaller yet still roomy. Like, what else? Let's look at some other options. So they're like, okay, that's not going to work. Okay. So like, there's anxiety here, but I feel like you're also letting these people know, and these people, whoever you're working with, they seem to know like they need to run it by you first before they really finish something off. So I'm getting there is some anxiety here, but I don't see it going against you with the Nine of Cups is telling me it is working out. I feel like when these other people are working with you, you always want to remind them, like, before we make any big decisions, always let me know before we make big decisions. Try to make that one of the parameters. Before anybody makes big decisions, let's talk it over as a group, or like at least with you, whatever that needs to be. Like, before any big decisions are made, make sure we talk. Any like signing of lines, putting out big money, whatever it is. I feel like that's something you can reiterate, because you're going to want to reiterate that. Every now and then you're just going to remind people, remember, we're going to talk about big decisions. We're not going to just jump ahead. We're going to talk it over. We're not going to use any big money on anything. We're going to talk it over before anything like that happens. Reiterating that every now and then, just like every week or two, that should be good. I think this is good. Is there anything we don't like here? I'm worried about extremes. Don't resist this. Like, it may seem like when the momentum gets going, it starts to really take form, and it may make you nervous. Kind of like you do want it, but I feel like you're afraid it's going to get out of your hands, out of your control. It makes you nervous. Don't resist it. Don't go to extremes. Like, don't get really fearful and pull back and hold down, and don't let you'll block this from coming in for you. Go with it. Be careful. Like, again, from the very beginning, like, be careful with your parameters, and realize. Just remind people. Talk to me before big decisions are made. Talk to me before big money is spent. Keep it going. Let them run ahead, because they might show you things you weren't expecting, and you will have time to change it and edit it. Just don't end up getting in your own way, because I can feel myself doing that sometimes. Kind of like, I don't know what's going on. This is looking weird. I'm really kind of nervous, so I'm just going to be like, we're not doing anything else. Stop. We're just going to stop. We're just going to stop. Just stop. And it's like the freak out moment. You don't want to freak out. You want to get in that moment where, like, I don't know what's going on, so I'm just no more. Stop. 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 Instead of that, realize it's going to happen, and then just be like, tell me what's happening. Tell me, and then write it down for yourself. I also feel like that might be a very power moment for a lot of you. When somebody tells you something, write it down for yourself, and then just keep reviewing. Like, write down what they're telling you, so you can keep reviewing it, maybe once or twice a week, maybe every night, if that's what works for you. Write down what they're telling you, and then you can, that's for two reasons. One, you can be sure, like, okay, that's what they told me, this is what's happening. But also, for the second reason, this is what they told me, is that what's happening? That would help you a lot, I have a feeling. Kind of like, if somebody told you one thing and you wrote it down, and then they did something other, and then they're like, I didn't say that, and you're like, yes, you did, I wrote it down. You did tell me that, so why did I get this information and you did that? And then you could sort out anything that's weird like that. So if you write it down, especially when things are going very fast, if you write it down, you can, that way it doesn't slip out of your mind, but also you can be like, hey, you said this and I wrote it down. This is what was supposed to happen. I think that's good. Anything else? All right, I think we're there. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com, james4astral@gmail.com. Thank you.